Hello and welcome, everybody. It's very nice to be here today because we're launching a product here at Dreamdata that we've really been working on for a long while, and which is something that we've really wanted to bring to all of our users, myself included. It's the answer to the simple questions, or rather complex questions to answer if you don't have friends where you can share accounts with, which is like, what are the benchmarks of all sorts of B2B marketing questions that you might be sitting and asking? How are we doing on LinkedIn? Where do you get your traffic from? How do you distribute your ad budget? All of these things we're now making available for anybody who wants to compare how they've done compared to other B2B companies of their size or of their industry. So this is what I'm gonna take you through today. Unlike most of our other lives, you'll notice that it's just me. Can you hear me now? I think you can hear me now. There's one tiny button down here. Sound is coming through?
Maybe microphone is on the mute button. There's a button.
Yeah, no, but it's not muted anymore.
We're not there.
Okay, let me disable the. It's working. Good. There was just a slight delay. So sorry, guys. I don't know how much you missed. So I'll just rewind and go once more. So you just saw an excited guy talking. The reason for that is that today we're launching a product that we really wanted to be building and releasing for a long while. I myself have been asking me these questions every single week, which are some of the typical ones, like how are we doing on LinkedIn? How are other companies getting their traffic to the website? How have people distributed their ad budgets? What should we be doing more of? What should we be doing less of? How do we compare to other companies in our industry or of similar size to us? And this is what is here now. We have actually enabled the ability to anonymously generalize all the benchmark data that we have inside of Dreamdata. So you can go in and compare your own performance with other B2B companies' performance. And it's not like some kind of one static, one-off report about benchmarks last year. It's every single day. You can see what did you spend, how did you perform on a network, and how did other companies do. You can call it real time. It's happening every single day. If you want to compare, just go check Dreamdata and you see how you compare to other B2B companies. So I've prepared two sections. One is what is it that we've built that I'm going to show you now, and after that I'm going to show you some of the interesting benchmarks that we've found as we started to look at these generalized benchmarks. It's really interesting. There's some really good learnings in there for B2B companies. But I'll start by sharing my screen. So we'll have two parts of the presentation. One is the new B2B benchmark product, and the other ones are what's actually in the numbers. What are the insights that we're seeing across these B2B companies? So screen sharing starts now, and if there's anything you want me to say more or less of, just make sure to use the commentary field here, and I'll go there and answer your questions. So I'll hit here, share my screen, product launch, and then I'll go to the slideshow. And you guys should be seeing my screen now. So what are we launching? Well, we're launching Dreamdata Benchmarks. And what is it? As I said, it's the ability to compare your B2B performance against industry standards instantly every single day. And it's for free for anybody who uses Dreamdata. So if you're watching now and you're not using Dreamdata, maybe this is where you start your journey with us to see how you're comparing to other companies who are also using Dreamdata. Now, what is it that we've actually built? Dreamdata, as you know, it contains all your B2B go-to-market data from your CRM systems, from your website, from your marketing automation platforms, your review platforms, and so forth. Anything that touches your customer journeys, we've collected it and we've modeled it into these nice, clean customer journeys. And that's what gives you these thousands of your own customer journeys, where you can see every single account that you deal with. What have they been doing? What activities should you be paying attention to? How long does it take to win a customer? All these answers we sit on and you sit on with your Dreamdata account. And what we've then done is that we've anonymously generalized these into B2B benchmarks. That is basically done with the hope of helping to educate and empower you to make decisions more informed and better, so you can grow your company as well. So this is what we're going to drill into. This consists right now of 4 B2B benchmark reports. Not to overwhelm the product team, but feel free to say if you once you start looking at these reports, there's a detail here that I would like to see more of, or this detail, this metrics we don't really look at, then just keep that feedback floating into us, because that helps us make a better product. Now, what are the reports? It's 4 things presently. There's the answer to how do B2B companies get web traffic, like how do they get visitors to arrive on their websites? It's the distribution of their ad budgets. Where do they place their money? How are they B2B companies performing within specific ad networks? And then lastly, how does the journey look once that these accounts enter their sales pipeline, sales funnels? I'm going to take you through now each of those 4 reports and what you can expect within there, and what are the learnings that you can extract from it. What are the questions that you might answer as you look inside of these reports? Oh, yeah, and one small but worth noticing is that it's a bit of a quid pro quo game. So you need to agree to include your anonymized data to see the benchmarks. You have to give to take. So enable all your ad accounts, share your data with us anonymously, and then we'll make sure that you can see other people's data anonymously as well. Then a small detail: the ad budget, where you see the distribution of ad budgets, are free. The ad performance within the ad networks are free as well. The journey metrics will need your CRM system, which is part of the paid tool for us. That was not completely correct. So the free product includes the CRM data as well, but it's restricted to not show the benchmarks of the journey metrics right now. And then lastly, the web traffic is only for those who are on a paid tier as well. Good. Web traffic. This is actually, there was some place where I found quite a lot of inspiration for Dreamdata. So you see here, this the chart on the left side here, right side here, contains an average of how our customers receive their traffic. So the general benchmarks is that around 48% of the traffic that our customers receive comes from direct, for example. When we look at organic search, 22% comes from organic search to websites. Basically, the questions that you can answer here is like stuff like, how does email help our website get traffic? Are our SEO activities working? How much traffic do our paid activities give us? Are we getting less traffic from sources that other B2B companies grow from? All of these questions you'll be able to see. You can see the blue line is the benchmark, and the black line is your data. So you can all the time be inspired to who's succeeding with certain tactics and How are you comparing to those? I'll just take a little sip here. Cool. Let me just check if there's any questions in here. No, not this far. Good. Cool. So you'll be able to see how are B2B companies getting web traffic, and you'll be able to see if you're missing any pockets of growth that you could be utilizing that others are. Next, the ad budget distribution has been quite the revelation for me personally to see. You can compare your ad budget distribution compared to other B2B companies. And one of the surprising facts for me is that Google Ads actually seem to be consuming more than 50% of the ad budget still, which like, to be honest, to me that's a bit crazy, because on Google Ads you have zero control of the size of companies that receive your ads, as opposed to on LinkedIn you can say it needs to be companies of 250 plus in this industry. Like, there's so many specifications you can do on LinkedIn, which is basically taking up 30% of the ad budget right now. But Google is still consuming more than 50% of these, which makes me think that maybe some of the B2B marketers out there are overly relying on Google at the moment and could be shifting budget to LinkedIn going forward. But basically, this as well serves as great inspiration to see how are companies in general placing their money. Should we be placing more money on certain ad networks that we're not placing money on today? And every single day when you check in, these numbers will be fresh out of the box, and you'll be able to see if there's been any fluctuations in how companies are distributing their budget. I'll just shift my screen for just a second. So this is inside our demo account. And what I wanted to show you here is actually the ability to click here. And what you can do is you can select the general benchmark for B2B companies, which is all users. But you can actually also say, I want to go with the employee benchmark. So how many employees do we have, and how does the budget distribution look for companies of this size? Or you can go on and select the industry that you're in and say, in my industry, how are people distributing my budget? So you can go from the general overview to a little bit more specific overview of what are people doing. Really cool. Cool. Back. So that was the web traffic. Next one I did here is the ad budget distribution. Next one coming up is how actually, oh yeah, there's a very interesting part of the ad budget distribution, which is a unique metric that we've developed, which is called cost per influenced company. What we're looking at here is that what does it actually cost for you to get in front of another account, and compare that against what does it cost for you to get another contact. And there's quite some interesting fluctuations here, where the typical story is that LinkedIn can be quite expensive to run ads on. But when you actually start to analyze and drill down into what does it actually cost for us to get in front of another company relevant to us, LinkedIn turns out to actually be one of the cheapest channels you can use. Whereas LinkedIn, if you want to drive leads, if you just want to collect another email, it's a very expensive network. Whereas probably you want to go to Google Display or Facebook if you just want to collect a lot of leads. But is that really what we want to do in B2B? Probably not. So we will give you this overview of the channels that you're putting your budget into, and what does it actually cost to reach another company through these networks. The same thing for contacts. I'd advise you to pay more attention to the companies rather than the contacts, but I'll leave that up to you. Cool. Next thing coming up, the third out of 4 reports is our ad network performance. And here you'll be able to basically compare your B2B performance on every single ad network that you run. In this case, I've selected LinkedIn here, but I'll go over here and just show you as I click ad performance. You can take any network that you're spending money on, and you can see how are we doing on whatever metric that you've selected, let's say CPM. So in this case here, I can see how much are we paying per CPM on this selected network, LinkedIn, and how much of our budget is LinkedIn consuming. So I can constantly benchmark myself against who's doing best in general of B2Bs in my industry or at companies of similar size to me. So LinkedIn looks great, but how are we doing on Google search? Let's see how we're only doing strong. We're not outstanding on Google search. Let's try Facebook. And here you can see, it's even moderate, so it's getting worse. So you'll be able to spot pockets where you're better at marketing and go to market than others, and you'll be able to find places where you could actually probably improve your performance by learning how other people's are performing. So this answers to kind of what is the average CPM per ad network, what is the CPC that you should be looking for, what is a good click-through rate on the different networks, and how do you basically rank against other companies that are using Dreamdata on all these metrics? And yeah, there might be one who have the picky manager that asks or challenges you to explain, are you better or worse than others? If you log into the Dreamdata benchmarks, you'll be able to actually show them black on white. This is how we perform. Felix is asking, within industry benchmarks, will your choice of industry become more granular as currently is preferred? Yeah, good question, Felix. I'll leave that to the product team to get back to you. Good. Next report, the fourth and final report, before I show you the general benchmarks, journey metrics. Here we're analyzing two things. How long does it take to come from you're an MQL until you're a sales pipeline account? And from the moment you're a sales pipeline account, how long does it take to win it? And this really immensely helps you understand and plan your marketing budget and how early you need to start your activities. Because if the sales team, if it turns out that in this case, the general benchmarks is 100 days that it takes to move from marketing qualified to sales qualified, well, then you're looking at 3 months before the salespeople actually have a chance of closing it. You need to start that up front. And if it takes 3 months to win it as well, then we're looking at 3 months plus 3 months. Hence, we need to start our marketing activities 6 months before the sales team actually needs the deals. Cool. Let me just go check if there's any more questions coming in. Good. Oh yeah, next thing to just show you here. So in terms of the pipeline stages, many companies have multiple pipelines stages inside of Dreamdata. To use this part of the benchmark product, you go into this, you go to settings and benchmarks, and then you can define what is a marketing qualified account for us. That's the name of your pipeline stage. And what is a sales qualified lead for us? You go in and select the right stages. Once you hit save, then we map your funnel stages correctly, and you'll be able to use these benchmarks. There is also the opportunity to opt out if you don't want to be part of these benchmarks. That's totally fair as well. Cool. That was the product itself. If you log into Dreamdata today, you'll see the benchmarks and you'll be able to use them right away. All right, on to what are the actual findings that we're looking at now. So we took a look at all the generalized benchmarks to try and find some interesting stuff for you. So if we start with the web traffic highlights, you'll see combined that direct traffic, organic search, and branded search together sits on a massive chunk that's like 2/3 of all the traffic a website receives. And that probably indicates that we cannot still forget the importance of the brands that we're working at, because we need to make a lot of noise in a lot of different channels, and then people show up at our website through these various what can you call them, generic buckets, like direct traffic. People saw you on LinkedIn, heard you on a podcast, met you on the street or whatever, and then they type in your website and they go directly to that website. So brand is still a very, very big portion of B2B go-to-market. Organic search is the largest tracked contributor of traffic, where 23% of all the traffic that our customers receive comes from organic search. So make sure you don't neglect the good old search engine optimization, SEO discipline. It's still a very valuable channel to bring in traffic from. Google search ads typically it basically is consists of 11% of the traffic that we see coming to websites. That's contradicting to the actual of the ad budget that take up 39%. So it's a small portion of the traffic that arrives to the website, but a big chunk of the ad budget that is taken up by Google search and non-branded terms. Then a funny observation is that the social channels, which, for example, us at Dreamdata go heavily on, it's actually not too big a traffic provider. Like there's a link on Facebook or LinkedIn and then go directly to your website. That's not how these channels work. It's channels where you create awareness and then they typically seek you out through other channels, either direct or organic search or paid search with a branded term or something like that. Now, that doesn't mean that these channels are not super important. And that's also why we're working super tightly together with the LinkedIn marketing team to continuously be better at understanding how are all these view-based ads actually contributing to your growth. So us at Dreamdata, we actually get every impression, every video view, every engagement on ads, and we're from LinkedIn on accounts, and then we can plot these into journeys even without you clicking on the ad and going onwards to the website. So social channels are still very, very valuable, but it's not something where there's a direct connection between somebody clicking and then arriving to your website. Cool. Next, ad budget distribution. Here's a lot of funny ones as well. As I mentioned up in the beginning, the Google network still takes up more than 50% of the ad budget, which is really surprising to me. As I said, because you have zero control of, or close to zero control of who's seeing your ads. You don't control how big the companies are. You don't control the industry. You can't target job titles, etc. So a lot of B2B marketers are still putting money into this channel despite not knowing whether it's a solopreneur or it's 1,000 people company that is going to be receiving these ads from you. Contradicting to that, as I said, LinkedIn is a third of the budget. If you ask me for a prediction, I think you will see that LinkedIn ads will continue to rise for B2B companies because of this much higher quality of targeting you can do on the platform. Display advertisement in terms of YouTube and Google Display is a very small portion of the ad spend, which probably makes sense, and probably also because you have so limited targeting that most companies are probably just doing retargeting on these platforms, because it's not a place where you actually want to be stuffing more or putting top funnel budget in, because the control is just too small. And then the infamous Google tax, you can say, the branded search terms on Google takes up 7% of ad budgets in general. I don't know how that looks for B2C or B2B companies in particular, but for all the users of Dreamdata, it's 7% of the ad budget that is consumed by just branded searches on Google. That's ouch. That's a bit of a tax that Google forces you to pay for this, or you can choose to not pay for this click. But for example, in industries that are as fierce as ours, I wouldn't leave it up to chance to see whether our competitors, or they do bid on our brand name. So I have to, as a marketer, be protecting my brand. But 7% of the total budget, that's tough. And Bing, despite all the hype from ChatGPT integrations and so forth, is still only 2% of the budget. I think I've seen some statistics of Bing growing in terms of searches that are coming through there, or searches being performed on Bing. So maybe we'll see that grow in the future. But right now, for B2B companies, Bing is only 2% of the budget. Then ad performance. Let's see what's we made this very advanced set of metrics here where you can compare everything basically on the three big networks: Facebook, Google, and LinkedIn. So you can go ahead and compare all the different metrics on these platforms. Let's see what I want to pull out here. Yeah, I think that's probably the most important thing to notice here is what I highlighted earlier with the ad budget. The analysis of what does it actually cost to influence a company versus influencing a contact. And LinkedIn is much better than its rumor. It's actually, when you compare the big three, Google, LinkedIn, Facebook, LinkedIn is by far the cheapest platform you can use to influence more companies. But if you're just out there for collecting leads, LinkedIn is an expensive channel. But I know what I'm out there doing B2B marketing for. It's not for collecting another email. It's for reaching more companies that are relevant to our company. If you want the slides, you can always DM me and I'll send these to you afterwards. Oh yeah, and I actually I forgot to plug in the beginning here. So you can see that we've been looking a lot at benchmarks at Dreamdata right now. But what is it? We are actually also going to be releasing a complete report with all the benchmarks, probably Thursday this week. So if you stay tuned, you don't just have to rely on my slides. There will actually be coming out some very nicely looking reports where you can look at the findings for every single of these reports. Let me see if there's more questions to pick up on. Alan, I see you have a lot of comments. Feel free to get back to me in the DM afterwards. Cool. But that's what I had in store for you. The reports are live now. As soon as you connect your data, you'll be able to compare yourself against other B2B companies, both all of the B2B companies, the companies of your size, and the companies of your industry. So no more having to rely on one-off benchmarks and having to sidle and wrestle with copy pasting to compare how you're doing. Inside of Dreamdata, it's live every single day, and you'll know how you're performing. If you're using Dreamdata, it's live there right now. If you're not using Dreamdata, go create an account, connect your data sources, and it works. That's all I had in store for you. I hope you found it interesting. If you want to ask me more questions, or if I missed some of the questions as I was talking, just reach out to me and I'll be happy to answer them. And go benchmarks, go try it out, and let us know what you think about it. As I said in the beginning, we're super open to feedback. So if there's anything in there you want to see more of or less of, just let us know, because that's how we get better, by listening to our customers. Have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed this